what to put in Mr. Potato Head's box. Somebody thought a long time about like how to make kids like it, and it doesn't automatically lead to kids liking it. And someone thought long and hard like the parts can move. So if that helps. If it doesn't, you can leave it. So moving forward, just to give you some sense of what is coming next. So between now and all staff, you guys will get the SD pre-work, and you'll get a chance to review the CMA ISAT pre-work, which is comes between all staff and week 0 for CMAs. So you'll get to see like what your CMAs will do, and that and then what you are doing with the ISAT is foundational, so you can support CMAs and what they're doing with ISATs. The other thing, you'll also receive the table facilitation for the intro to summer school. This is the first time we really mention the ISAT anywhere, which is at all staff. You'll also then receive more support and guidance on how to support your CMAs through the pre-work. You'll complete your pre-work between all staff and half staff. You'll probably start supporting some of your CMAs pre-work. At half staff, we'll discuss receive coaching and support and development on either your work or supporting your CMAs, whichever you feel like you need more support around. Then you'll coach your CMAs through the pre-work and discuss progress with either myself or Libby on your check-ins of like, how is that going? And the pre-work is designed to help CMAs get ready to facilitate all the sessions around the ISAT, which then inherently means that they actually need to know the ISAT. Do you want to add any? Kelby designed the CMA and SD pre-work. Do you want to add? I'm sorry, I just threw you out there. Do you want to add anything to that?
No.
Okay. So questions, comments, concerns. We do actually have like quite a bit of time for like either like detailed questions, vision questions, anything you want. John Fisher.
I think you might have addressed this, but I want to like hear the specific, I guess, answer to this. In the beginning, when you put up like the problems that they'd originally had with last year's ISAT, one of the things that I thought I saw that wasn't explicitly addressed was the comments about there was too much to teach in a lesson. There was too much to teach at a time.
Yeah.
And I saw that you'd addressed like the ones about like alignment and all that, but I didn't see an explicit addressing of that question.
So a little bit of context about that. That's something that we've asked ISAT writers to look at really specifically. Like, can this be accomplished within, for math, 60 minutes, for high school, 45? Like, I've given them the actual timing, and I've had them go back and do like a gut check. Like, if you are a teacher, can you actually do this? And then in the ISATs, there's also a place they can put, ISAT writers can put in a little like asterisk. So what I've asked them to do is create objectives in that way, but if they feel like an objective may take longer, they're putting a little asterisk by it, which I've asked them to only have like 1 or 2 per ISAT potentially. So it's just potential, like, for example, in 4th grade long division has a little asterisk by it, like, this could take you longer, but the ISAT writer also thought that by breaking the objective down into 2 days, it wasn't meeting the level of rigor for 4th grade. So in most cases I told them, if you can break it into 2 pieces that are still at the level of rigor on grade level, do that, as opposed to putting this asterisk in there. So we'll give you some more guidance on how to deal with those like asterisk objectives, which you should not see many of.
This is indirectly related, but
sure.
What is I guess the division of the school day in K-8 in terms of math and reading? Like what you said about math and reading, like do they have 2 30-minute lessons again?
Okay.
Reading, are they sharing again?
Nope. So in K7, what they will have is a 2-hour reading chunk in the morning that is divided between word study for 30 minutes and then a 90-minute session for vocabulary, read aloud, and shared reading. And then they'll go to lunch for half an hour, and then there are 2 1-hour-long math blocks back to back. So for K through 3, what we're going to have is like a little warm-up, like a 15-minute warm-up and a 45-minute lesson for math, another 15-minute warm-up and a 45-minute lesson. And then in 4 through 7, it'll just be like 2 60-minute math blocks back to back. Yes, ma'am.
To what extent do we teach core members and set them up to diagnose or pre-test and then maybe be able to decide, use it as a guide, the ISAT, rather than scripts?
Yep. So I'll speak to that on the objective mastery level. So thinking about high school, 9th grade success, and math. We're going to administer the pre-test early enough so that basically what we're going to give core members is a week's worth of objectives calendared for them. So the first 8 or 10 or 12 calendared for them. So the first 8 or 10, 12 in sequence. But then what we're going to be able to do this summer is reflect on that data. So during Wednesday of week 1, core members are going to be able to calendar the remainder of the summer for themselves with guidance from their CMA. In the case that we have intervention hour, so 9th grade success and all of the Roosevelt schools, there are 44 to 46 objectives in the ISAT and only like 36 teaching blocks. So core members will actually have to make decisions that are like teaching objectives that meet the highest levels of student need, and then using math lit hour time or academic intervention hour, it's the same thing, to get at those other objectives that they're not teaching whole group. So they should really feel like, because they're getting some like autonomy and like how to counter the objectives, then they're actually being able to like support student learning in a very authentic way that feels like they're hitting the right levels of student need. That has, like, I'm sure for those of you that are thinking about like how that actually happens, there are a lot of potential pitfalls and problems with that system, but we really felt like for core members to understand like how they're teaching to student need, it was really important to give them that ability to counter their own objectives, and just know that like we're designing a CMA session that is trying to get at like how this is going to be really difficult. And then